All right, shout out to Circa and Matt Metcalf, who put up some fun Tiger Woods props. And again, they're not like trying to make money on these things, just something fun to bet on. And people certainly have been betting them. Will Tiger complete one or more strokes in the Masters? Look where the yes is now, especially after you spent an hour watching him today, Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, minus 1550 that he will, in fact.
It's up to minus 1,600.
This
I'm
just
getting
in.
from downstairs.
How many teams have 2 picks in the first round? Oh, okay.
12.
Minus 1,600 now on the yes for Tiger Woods to complete one stroke. By the way, the word complete is awesome because what if he like starts it and then like the club falls out of his hand on the backstroke? Like, that's not complete.
All right, this is how much this has moved. 5 minutes ago, I'm getting word from downstairs. 5 minutes ago it was minus 1,600. It's now down to minus 800.
Oh, on the buyback.
So bet's finally coming in on the other side, I guess.
This thing's been bouncing around all
really
Because it's like 10-1 on the no.
Yeah,
Right? There's so many people who just can't
resist.
Can't resist.
And it looks like, again, right now, that he will give it a go. Tiger Woods' first round score set at 75 with the under slightly juiced. Would you bet that?
I mean,
that might be the toughest one on here of whether or not I would bet or not, Matt. Like I don't know what you think.
Right
I think that's one I'd have to stay far away from.
I would only bet the over, but I'm not inclined here. This one is more interesting, I think, to me. This to make the cut, getting plus money on the yes because of what we broke down.
Yeah,
and again, if you listen to the Megapod or whatever, but I mean, guys, so there's 91 people in this tournament, but when you start kind of whittling down between the people that have the lifetime exemption, and then the amateurs that are in there, and then the guys that are going to play just because it's a Masters, but they're coming in hurt or not in terrible form and all that, you really kind of only get down to about 70, 71, 72 players, and it's 50 in ties that make the cut. And so, like, Tiger doesn't even have to really play all that well.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, he doesn't really have to play all that well in order to make the cut. And so, like, to get plus money on that is at least somewhat interesting.
Because it's like a legit 15 golfer window between those that make the cut and the Sandy Lyles of the world.
I think I'd want like plus 140 or something like that, and then I think it'd be a bet for me. I'm with you, man. I think that's. I'm not counting him out. If he tees it up, I think he can make the cut for sure. I think when we get into finishing position, it gets a little bit more awkward. But to make the cut, I absolutely think he can do it. And one other guy that won't be playing, Adam Hadwin, who you will hear me mention in bets earlier on this show and in the Megapod.
Another thing that took us an hour to figure out.
Right, yeah.
Finishing position, by the way, right now is 57.5. This has bounced all over the place, too. Didn't this get down as low as like 34.5 or something?
The lowest I saw it, but I mean, this is, it's probably 36 hours between Friday over Saturday where I didn't see it. 47.5 was the lowest I saw.
Oh, I think it got lower than that. But
I was hoping
back
to bet
to 57.
If it got lower than 40, that sucks because I was looking to bet on it if it hit 40.
So 57.5 is you make the cut and not much more.
Like you sit here and you look, and it's like, again, we're talking about this whole, will he make the cut, will he won't make the cut or something like that. I mean, guys that made the cut last year, Adam Scott shot 74, 73, right? So 2 over, 1 over. He made it at 3 over, he made it at 3 over. Jim Herman shot 76, 70, so 4 over, and he made the cut. So when we're sitting here trying to say is that, like, again, can he play par golf? Like, I mean, he doesn't even have to do can he play par golf? And it's Tiger Woods at Augusta. Can he play par golf is all we're asking to make the cut. Like, I mean, again, I do not think he contends at all. I would not bet $1 on an outright on him.
Top 10 or top 20. I'm not interested in
contends, but again, we're talking about 50 in ties. So last year it was 54 players that ended up making the cut, right? And so it just, to me, that's at plus money, specifically like you're saying, if it continues to creep up between now and Thursday, I mean, that might be something I would sprinkle a little bit on.
Would you target him in matchups at all?
They're not going to.
If they're not going to post many, you think they're going to post any?
Maybe one, and it's going to be like not juicy at all. For sure, they're not dumb.
No, I know, but like it's some of those really low end players that you might see some matchups against. But is that is it going to be worth betting?
Well, what will be interesting is if he makes the cut and actually plays respectable golf, and then what will you see him in like a 1-round matchup kind of thing come 3rd round,
Yeah.
4th round?
And like the other thing is it's these matchups, right? And it's just for us again that don't have access to the rest of the country books, like the people who play these matchups early, like they're sharp guys, like they're guys that are golf bettors. So like you go and you look, and the ones that are posted at DraftKings, right? The casual bettor who doesn't know anything about golf, there's a listed. There's Bryson versus Sam Burns, right? Casual bettor would be like, oh, Bryson's plus 125, Sam Burns is minus 150, right? Like people have come in and they've hammered Sam Burns over Bryson because one, they know he's hurt, he's playing like crap, like the whole 9 yards. So it's just like it's hard to get in on any of these. It's hard to get in these unless it's like you're sitting there when they drop, and then you can probably find some
Circa
value.
does have one up. Tiger versus Webb Simpson. Tiger plus 170. Yeah,
Webb Simpson with injuries.
Webb Simpson, yes, banged
That's
up.
what so they paired up two injury guys, like two withdrawal, like two guys that could equally like is likely to withdraw.
You're right, man. It's going to be people like that. Like, I think they're both hurt. I mean, Webb has not been playing good at all. So it's one I wouldn't touch it. And like, I think that's a PSA. Like, don't go touch this because either one of these guys could end up withdrawing at any point.
That was an interesting thing you just said, though. You go 2 guys with injuries, but Tiger technically, I guess, doesn't have an injury.
Right, technically is. I mean, if it's plus one, I would obviously only take Tiger in that. Like if he's plus 170, I would only take Tiger in that because he's probably less likely to withdraw than Webb. Like because Webb has a legit injury where Tiger it would just be like, well, my legs like just can't take the walking.
Right.
You know?
Did we talk about top 10 and top 20?
We didn't.
Tiger, top 10. The yes is plus 870. The no, he's also at circa minus 1350. And then top 20, plus 385 on the yes. No, minus 485.
Appropriately priced.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Appropriately priced.
I